إن الحمد لله
نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. عباد الرحمن, I'm not going to stand up here and give you a soft khutbah that you put in your back pocket and you forget about until next Jum'ah. This, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, is a khutbah that should hit each and every one of your hearts. And walking from the masjid today, you should be a different person. Walking away from the masjid today, you should be a different person. So many times, us, busy in our lives, busy with work, busy with school, and let's be honest, busy with entertaining ourselves. Some of us, the only dhikr of Allah that we have is in the Jum'ah khutbah. So while you can, pay attention. Ibad al-Rahman, the enemies of Islam, have grown and they've attacked in their relentless attacks towards our religion. Now, today, you find the enemies of Islam more than they were before, stronger than they were before, increasing in their hostility, in their ruthlessness, more than before. The enemies of Islam, they have grown and they have attacked Islam in every aspect you can think of. Even your kids when you send them to school. The kids that you send to school for 6 hours a day, your enemies are teaching them all sorts of nonsense. Ibad al-Rahman, today you open up the news, and every single time you open up that channel, you look on your phone, you get heartbroken once again about the state of the Muslims. That the state of the Muslims seem to be humiliated. The state of the Muslims seem to be impoverished. SubhanAllah, just yesterday I opened my phone and I saw a video of a little girl. A little girl, no more than 4 years old. A little girl, no more than 4 years old, she's looking at the camera and she's begging them for death. She's begging them for death. That she's lost everything. Her mother, her father, her little brother. She's lost her home, she's lost her wealth. She's lost all of this. Now she's begging for death. Can you imagine your little boy, your little daughter, asking you for death? Asking you, take me away from this life, it's too much for me. Now, subhanAllah, someone who feels bad for this, someone who their hearts feel compassionate for this, they're strange. Just like the Prophet said, بَدَى الْإِسْلَامَ غَرِيبًا وَسَيُعُودُ غَرِيبًا كَمَا بَدَى فَطُوبَى لِلْغُرَبَاءِ. Islam began as something strange. It will return as something strange. فَطُوبَى لِلْغُرَبَاءِ. So may Jannah, glad tidings be for the strangers. So many times you see now how many excuses people make for the atrocities that are committed. Their hearts, subhanAllah, is harder than the rocks, the mountains you see outside. For even the mountains, if the Quran was revealed upon it, it would still crumble down. These people, nothing would make their hearts like this. Ikhwan, you've been given a gift. You've been given a gift of Islam. Something that as easily as it was given to you. A lot of us who've been given to this at birth. Even the moment we were born, our fathers were saying the adhan in our ears. From the moment we were born, we heard Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. This ni'mah of Islam that you've been given, if you don't take it, and if you don't use it, it will be taken away from you just as easily as it was given. Use this Islam while you can. Protect your heart while you can. But this is the greatest thing that subhanAllah, Allah Azza wa Jalla bestowed upon the Muslimin, is that their hearts can open and accept the truth. SubhanAllah, a lot of us, we think that we're safe. Even here, we think that we're safe. Muhammad ibn Sirin, rahimahullah, was a tabi'i. He was from the Imam of the tabi'in, meaning the student of the Sahaba. He was asked, how many people will be saved from Dajjal? You see, a lot of times, us, when we go on our phones, right, we look up Islamic videos, we always find stories. We always find a story of this, the end times, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And it's almost made as if it's a storytelling thing rather than when it's really a warning. Muhammad ibn Sirin, rahimahullah, he says, the people who will be saved from Dajjal. Now the Muslims are 2 billion. 2 billion Muslims around the Muslim world. The people who will be saved from Dajjal, from the men, are 12,000. 12,000. This is not an imam who lived 200 years ago or an imam at a local masjid today. He is a student of the companions, a student of the Sahaba. He is the imam of this generation. He says, from the men 12,000, from the women 6,000. This is how many will be saved from Dajjal. Don't think that you're safe. Don't think that you're safe from this misguidance. Wallahi, the people who are afraid of the missiles landing on them, they're more safe than us now. Because their hearts and their iman is higher than ours right now. The fitna, we always hear Dajjal as being described as a fitna. A fitna in the Arabic language means imtihan. It means a test. Anytime a test is given, it's given to show a sort of result from this. What is the result that Allah Azza wa Jalla is looking for when the fitna is given? Those who are truthful, those who are siddiqeen, those who are truthful in their words. In America they have a saying, anyone can talk the talk, but nobody can walk the walk. So a lot of people can talk. I would do this, I would do that, I want to do this, when I have free time I'll have this. Not a lot of people will actually do that. These tests that come is to show who's the one who will actually act. Who's the one who will actually act on what he says from his tongue. These tests that come, these fitna that come, they show who is truly living up to their word, living up to their iman. And those, subhanAllah, the biggest test that it shows from the fitna that we see is whose hearts, al-qulub, these hearts, are they attached to Allah or they're attached to the dunya? Are they attached to Allah, Rabb al-Alameen, the one who created you and those before you? Or is it attached to the dunya? There's a hadith of the Prophet in Musnad Ahmad. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, there will come a time at you, the Muslimin, will be the most humiliated, the most disgraced people on the earth. You will be the people who are the lowest of the low, humiliated. And the Sahaba, they asked, will it be, Ya Rasulullah, because we'll be low in number? We're little in number. Is it because of this, Ya Rasulullah? The Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, no. It is not because you'll be low in number. Rather, you will be kathir. You'll be numerous. He said it will be because why? Allah will enter into your hearts and wahy. قالوا ما واحد يا رسول الله. What is wahy? حب الدنيا وكراهة الموت. Love of the dunya and hatred of death. This is al-wahy. This is what causes us to be humiliated. Attachment to the dunya. Here Rasulullah told us that dunya mal'una. The dunya is cursed. Mal'una ma fiha. Everything in it is cursed. Illa, 3 things. Illa dhikrullah wa ma wala. except the remembrance of Allah and that which brings it together. وَعَالِمٌ أَوْ مُتَعَلِّمٌ, the scholar and the learner. These three things. This is what's not cursed in the dunya. This dunya, ya ikhwan, that we chase, it treated Ibrahim how? It put him on the stake to be burned. Isa alayhi salam was chased, hunted down. Yusuf alayhi salam was sold as a slave for very cheap. These are the Anbiya. These are the people that we wish to be like. These are the people that we repeat these stories to our kids. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the dunya treated him so terribly. Every single one of his children he buried with his own hands. Except for one. He would tie stones to his stomach because he was this hungry. He was thrown out of his own hometown, cursed by his own people. In Ta'if, his head cracked. In Uhud, his head cracked. This is what the dunya treated him like. So do not be attached to this dunya. Do not be attached to this. Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah, he said a beautiful statement. He says, the sihr of the dunya is much worse than the sihr of the akhirah. The sihr of the dunya is much worse than the sihr of Harut wa Marut. Harut and Marut were given sihr, teaching the people as a fitna. He says that the magic of the dunya is worse than this. Because the magic that Harut and Marut were given separated a man from his wife. But the magic of the dunya, it separates a man from his Lord. It separates a man from his Lord. SubhanAllah, an example I wanted to give for someone who survives these tests. I'm talking about fitna and fitna and fitna. We need an example. Who is someone who's survived this? Wa ismuhu, his name, our father, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. A lot of us don't even know his real name. A lot of us don't even know his real name. You can ask rappers and you can ask about celebrities, you'll know exactly who they are. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, his name is Abdullah ibn Uthman. Abu Bakr, he was given this title of as-Siddiq, the truthful one, earning this title. Abu Bakr, when it came to sacrificing for this religion, sacrificing for his deen, Abu Bakr was a very wealthy man. A very wealthy man. When it came time to give for hijrah, he gave every single thing he had. Hatta his wife saw him in his home looking around in his house, looking for something. She says, Ya Abu Bakr, you've given everything already. What else are you looking for? You know what he says? Radiallahu anhu. He says, I left the needle on the wall here, and I promised Rasulullah I'd give him everything. Ask yourself, what have you given for this religion? What have you given? This is a man who wouldn't let a needle leave his sight to give for the religion of Allah. And even after the death of the Prophet and even everything he gave, actually Abu Bakr, he got it all right back. 40,000 dinar he gave, and he got it right back. When the enemies of Islam came after the death of the Prophet, the people came to Abu Bakr, Khalifa, and they told Abu Bakr, Ya Abu Bakr, the Romans, they've gathered their army ready to attack. Another companion comes and he says, Ya Abu Bakr, the Persians have ready their armies, they're ready to attack. Another man comes and says, Ya Abu Bakr, the Muslimin far out, they've left Islam and they've joined the false prophet. 7 false prophets were there at the time of Abu Bakr. Another man comes and says, Ya Abu Bakr, the Yahud, they have come back. They've started to wage war against us again. Another one says, Ya Abu Bakr, the Muslimin, they've stopped giving zakat. Over and over and over again. And the Sahabi, he records and he says, SubhanAllah, we were astonished this day. Because the more we gave Abu Bakr this news of another army ready to attack, it seemed like the happier Abu Bakr became. It was as if they were giving him good news. It was as if they were giving him good news for this. This is the level of yaqeen Abu Bakr had. No doubt. Siddiq, truthful with his words, knowing that Allah Azza wa Jalla was never going to abandon him. As long as they did their job. As long as they gave victory to Allah, they put their efforts in, Allah was going to give victory to them. We need this now. Men, who from us today is going to be Siddiq? Who from us today is going to have this yaqeen? Who's going to put the effort to give victory for Allah? To give victory for Allah when your brothers and sisters are suffering right now. قولوا ما تسمعون واستغفر لي ولكم فاستغفروا إنه غفور رحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين صلوات والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. Ya Ikhwan, one of the greatest things I can remind you, one of the greatest things I can remind you with this Jum'ah is that if you do not act on this now, you may not have that time later. I'm talking about the Sahaba. If you told the Sahaba you had one day to live, I want you to think about it. If I came up to you, or if Malak al-Maut came up to you, if Malak al-Maut came up to you, the angel of death, and said, you had 24 hours to live. After the 24th hour, I'm taking your soul. You were planning your day, waking up early, reading Quran, going to the masjid, fasting, giving your wallet for sadaqah. You're preparing everything, things that you haven't done, hatta probably since Ramadan. Maybe you haven't done it at all. We're planning our days as if these are the 24 hours. The Sahaba, if you asked them, if you told them they had 24 hours to live, their day wouldn't change. Their day wouldn't change. They lived every day the same. I want you to do yourself a favor today. When you walk out the masjid doors, today, act as if it's your last one. Act as if it's your last one. And you may be fearing, and what if I lose this and lose that? If you acted like this, Allah will give you more. If you acted like this, Allah Azza wa Jalla will give you more. Death, ya Ikhwan, does not need an excuse. You don't need to have cancer in order to die. You don't need to get shot. You can be on your way. You can be on your way home. And just by using your car, you can find yourself people praying janazah over you the next day. This last month, I prayed janazah over 3 20-year-olds. 3 20-year-olds. Hatta the ulama, they say, majority of this ummah will die young. Nowadays, majority of them will die young. And this is because the Prophet told us from the end times, it's not just that the Arabs will build the tall buildings. Not just that Dajjal will come out. Not just that the man will think he's a woman and the woman will think she's a man. But that young people will start dying off suddenly. Are you ready? Are you ready for that janazah to be prayed over you? Are you ready for your deeds to be done? There's no more going back. Are you ready for this? Even if you're 10 years old, if you're 40 years old, it doesn't matter. Death does not discriminate. It's not pick and choose. It will come. SubhanAllah, how many people do you know? Malak al-Maut has passed by your soul how many times and taken the soul of someone you know. And it will one day come, passing by the souls of others, maybe people you see in this masjid right now, taking your soul that day. Don't think you have tomorrow. Don't think you have the next minute. And the Prophet had told us that what protects you from sudden death is sadaqah. Sadaqah. This protects you from sudden death. This protects you from being taken while you're in a state of ghafla, in a state of heedlessness. SubhanAllah, we all know the hadith. When the son of Adam dies, انقطع عنه عمله إلا من ثلاثة. Everything is cut off. No more umrah, no more salah, no more hajj, no more this. except three things. Three things. A child will make dua for you. Beneficial knowledge will be passed down. And sadaqah. Abu Bakr Siddiq, the ulama, they say one of the biggest reasons why he's given this name of Siddiq is because he sacrificed the most beloved thing of the dunya. When you hear the dunya, what do you think of? The first thing that comes up? Al-amwal, money. This is the first thing when the name dunya comes up, is money. To sacrifice this is something that means that what? I'm being truthful to my name. I'm being truthful to my name as a Muslim, a submitter to Allah, al-mu'min, someone of iman. This is the test of my truthfulness. Ali radiallahu anhu, it's a beautiful poem. Ali radiallahu anhu, he said, yeah, when he would go to the graveyards, Ya Ahl al-Qubur, O people of the graves, Ya Ahl al-Diq wal-Wahda, O people of tightness, O people of loneliness, Ya Ahl al-Dhulmati wal-Wahsha, O people of darkness, أما الديار فقد سكنت. As for the homes, they've been settled. وأما النساء فقد نكحت. As for the women, they've been married off. وأما الأموال فقد قسمت. And as for the money, it's been dispersed. هذا الخبر ما عندنا فما خبر ما عندكم. This is the news on our side. For what's the news on your side? This is what's going to happen when you pass away. This is what's going to happen when you pass away. So don't hold on to this. Rather, hold on to the rope of Allah. Hold on to the worship of Allah. Hold on to this. Benefit your ummah. Now the ummah is in a state of weakness. From Philistine to Sudan to Yemen. For all these lands are in your need. SubhanAllah. I mentioned the hadith earlier of Al-Wahn. That the Prophet said that what? That the people will be humiliated. I used to think this is talking about those who are suffering from the bombs. Then I realized the second part of the hadith is what? Wahn is for the people who what? Love the dunya and hate death. That's not them. That's us. That's us. We are the people this hadith is talking about. Humiliation has descended upon. Love of the dunya has come to us. We've forgotten about our brothers and sisters. SubhanAllah, like I said earlier, a little girl begging for death. The Imam of Gaza, during Ramadan, the last loudspeaker, he calls out in his dua, he says, Ya Ahl al-Islam, Ya Ahl al-Islam. People of Islam, where are you? People of Islam, where are you? Do you not feel shame? Do we not all feel shame right now? Brothers and sisters of ours, crying, begging for death. No water, no food, sleeping on the rubble. Us in air-conditioned buildings, eating whatever we want, and holding stingily to this wallet of ours. Holding this, spending it for what? Netflix accounts, entertainment. Do we not feel shame? When the history books will be written, we look at the history books and we read about Abu Bakr, we read about Imam Malik, we read about Umar. The history books, when they be written about us years from now, what will they say? What will they say? Will the history books label us as bystanders, people who sat back? Or will they label us as people who brought victory to the ummah? Imam Malik, he said, the later part of the ummah will never be rectified unless they return back to what the earlier part were upon, a sahaba. The way they sacrificed, the way they donated, hakada. And subhanAllah, just to finish it off, a lot of us, you're here with your children. Alhamdulillah, you're here with your children. How will your son remember you when you passed away? You know, a child, subhanAllah, you come in the masjid, you see a little child, he's praying with his father. When his father goes to ruku, he goes to the ruku. When his father goes to sajda, he goes in sajda. You see this all the time. The child learns from your actions. You can talk the talk and tell him, but he's going to learn from your actions. What you do right now, when these words are being spoken in the khutbah, this is what the child will remember when you passed away. Like I said, I'm not giving a soft, cuddly khutbah. This is the time for action. This is the time that we act. And just to finish it off, of the virtues of sadaqah. This is something that the mujahideen, those who fight in jihad, this is what they compete with these people who give sadaqah. Those who give in their money amwal. SubhanAllah, you have no idea. You have no idea. That money, if it's 50 cents, if it's $50, if it's $5,000, how many lives you can save. How many people that when you've passed away, you've paid for that meal that kept someone alive. That his salawat, his umrah maybe, his fasting, his sadaqah will be in your scale on the day of judgment. If this is your last day, this is not how you want to live. It's not what you want to put forward. This is something that relieving a hardship. The Prophet told us that when you relieve a hardship for your Muslim brother, that Allah will relieve a hardship for you on the day of judgment. The ulama, they say from this, it means what? You will enter Jannah biduna hisab, no judgment on that day. This is not what you want. This is not more worth it. This is not more worth it than hadi dunya. SubhanAllah, in Sudan, and once that khutbah is finished, just want 2 minutes of your time, just 2 minutes. I know you have work, but just 2 minutes. I promise it won't have an effect on your well-being. But in Sudan, about 17 million people, 17 million people do not know where their next meal is going to be. 7 million people do not have shelter, do not have a roof over their heads. We hear about Palestine a lot, and we know we're limited with this. But here, you're not limited. The gateways are open. We as a group, we've come outside, alhamdulillah, we've traveled more than 50 miles. And we've come, and we've had an opportunity of giving you the chance to increase yourself in this time. To help your brothers and sisters in Sudan who have been forgotten. And as Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah, used to say, الدنيا دار العمل والآخرة دار الجزاء فمن لم يعمل هنا ندم هناك. The dunya is for action, the akhirah is for reward. So whoever does not act here will have regret later. Don't be that person that on that day says, I could have. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to relieve ourselves, relieve our brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Gaza, in Sudan, in Yemen, and all throughout the Muslim world. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to open our hearts, and we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to let the nur of Allah Azza wa Jalla enter our hearts. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to make us from Ahl al-Jannah biduna hisab. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to make us attached to the akhirah and let the dunya leave our hearts. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to strengthen us and give us the quwwah of the Sahaba. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to let our children learn from our actions and let them follow the actions of the righteous. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to let them make dua for us after we've passed away. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to open our hearts, extend our hearts, and grant us ease in the dunya and the akhirah. Subhanallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Allahumma salli wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in.